Welcome, team. Welcome to the Hustle and Muscle podcast show with Rich and Rizz. So it's just mainly hustle today. Maybe we'll lose a bit of muscle. Rizz sometimes provides the muscle to this show. And I want to talk about a subject that I have talked about before, team. So again, if you have some comments, put them in the comments. But I want to talk about this subject. It's called getting paid for what you're really worth. This is a topic that the reason why I'm bringing it up again is because I think it needs to be talked about more. I think it needs to be talked about more in the fitness industry. I believe there's a very big topic of conversation. I think we should bring it up more and more and more and more. And I think everybody should be listening to this really clearly. Every time we bring on new clients, one of the first things I say, what are you charging and what are your rates? That's one of the questions on our strategy session document. And everybody I ask, I would say 80% of people, I don't believe are charging the right rate. And that's what I want to talk about today on the Hustle and Muscle show with just Richard today. And if you have seen any of those, listened to any of those podcasts, if you haven't, go check them out. I'll put the link below and you can listen to those. And generally, the format of this is me and Rizz, and Rizz is my personal trainer in Sydney. When I started personal training, we had these amazing conversations around everything to do with hustle and a bit of muscle. And this is one of the conversations that came up quite a lot is what do we charge as a personal trainer? What do we charge as a studio owner? What do we charge as a fitness professional? And a lot of the time, this conversation, it's a hard conversation for a lot of people to have because we feel uneasy about talking about money. We have bigger hearts than a lot of other industries, I would say. And we go into the fitness industry to help and serve people. Now, a lot of people think, including me, I'm in this industry too. And I opened my personal training studio up at 17, one of Australia's youngest personal trainers at the time. And all I wanted to do was train people, help people out. I just enjoyed it. I loved it. Never thought about the money. You're young. You're just doing, right? But sooner or later, if you want to stay in this industry long term, you need to pay attention. As we all know, we just went through lockdowns. We're still going through these things. And I want to, first of all, give you a bit of stats of what's actually happened. I'm reading a report from Oz Active, Fitness Australia, and just in regards to what has been happening in closes and people out of work and things like that. And I won't bore you with all the stats and the numbers. You can find this information on their website. But an alarming amount of fitness professionals are out of work now. They're not in this industry anymore. And if you're in a studio or trying to find a trainer, there's a problem because the industry is not here anymore. Ridiculous amount of people are not in this industry anymore because obviously with lockdowns and lack of work and things like that, we had to let, employers had to let people go, or if you're a trainer or if you're a sole trainer and you were on the edges, I'm going to use that word. If you're on the edges, you're not here anymore. And we're talking about a massive amount of people that are out of work. Some predict between 30 to 50% of people, of trainers, are not in this industry anymore. There's all different numbers going on, but I think we all feel the impact here that a lot of people aren't here. Now, I'm not going to say that, I am going to say that what happens through different cycles is there's ups and there's downs. In everything in life, we have financial crashes. At the moment, we have flooding, don't we? People's houses are going under. We have recessions. We have dry seasons, high seasons, low seasons. And that is life, but it's also business. And when we have these droughts or these floods, for example, COVID, crazy, right? Things start to equal up. So if you're on a high, are super high. You may not be on the high, but you may be just getting by or doing good, but not amazing. If you were really struggling, you're probably gone. Simple as that. And so when we look at these numbers, this large percentage of fitness professionals not in the industry anymore, I look at that and I go, what did we do wrong? I mean, what the hell happened here? What did we do wrong as an industry to be in a state that 50, 40, 30, 40, 50% of people are no longer in the industry? We are struggling to find good trainers. Some of you may say, well, Richard, it's COVID and gyms were shut down. Well, of course they were shut down. I understand that concept. But the big problem I have here is that could have we fixed this in the first place? Now, if you've been listening to any other podcasts, I did an interview with Barry Elvish, as we know, with Fitness Australia have moved to AusActive to kind of be that consumer arm, and people understand that fitness industry is an important industry. And, their partnerships with health provider companies and that are definitely on the right path, which is great. And so we are starting to see what this industry is worth. But I like to talk to the individual here, the individual trainer, the one that you've just started, the studio owner sitting there going, how am I getting leads in? I've just got this overhead to do, all that marketing from AusActive or Fitness Australia, when's that going to reach me? When is the consumer going to change their mind to say, oh my gosh, you are super important? Now, I want to flip to something that I've been looking at. I did a Google search this morning. 16 highest paid doctors in Australia with average salaries, right? These are doctors, obviously, and allied health as well is in there. But we're talking about a podiatrist, $80,000, a family physician, $86,000, optometrist, $105,000, dentist, $121,000, a surgeon, $139,000. These are averages. Pediatrician, $188,000 a year. General practitioner, $223,000 per year. And these are doctors, but if you can go allied health professional, the average salary there for allied health professionals is around $80,000 a year. Now, first step here is about what are you making a year? That's the question. What are you making a year? And I like to look at this industry. I like to look at what we do. We're up early in the morning. We're training clients in the evening. We basically have a split shift. A lot of you have a split shift, right? I had split shifts for many years. And when clients come into our program, they say, Richard, I just want to take a bit of time off. I want some afternoons. I want some mornings. I've got a family now. I've got to do things. And that's a fair call. And then what happens when we aren't able to get the money that we need for the hours, we leave the industry. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you leave the industry if you're not getting paid what you're really worth? So first step here is I want you to Google allied health professionals. And I want you to understand what they're actually earning. Go Google a nurse, a chiropractor, and go and understand what they're making, revenue, wage, I should say. So first step here is that we as the individual, not even the business, we need to get paid what we're really worth. And this is a question and this is like a thought people have, well, Richard, I'm okay. And this is how I thought for many years, decade, I should say. I'm okay. I can live off an oily rag. I mean, I just love what I do. I'm here to help my clients. I'm here to give them what they need. I'm here to motivate them, support them, build confidence, lose weight. This is important that they take this up. This is changing their life. They're changing their family, their community. So if it's doing all these things, let's just stop there for a second. If you're doing all these things, how much is it worth for the individual? And this is some questions I want you to ask. I've got 5 questions I'm going to get you to ask. Here goes. So question number 1 is, what problem do you solve? I want you to write that down now. What problem do you solve? Okay, that's question 1. If you can understand what problem you solve, what's going to happen here is it's going to be a really interesting thing to say, okay, I solve problem. Now, you don't solve, yes, we solve weight loss, but what I'm trying to understand is, and I'll ask you other questions too, you solve weight loss, but what else do you do? So question number one is, well, what problem do you solve? Number two, who do you help? So particularly, who do you help? What type of person, career orientated, things like that. Do you help a surgeon? Do you help a doctor? Do you help a business person? Do you help a mum? Do you help a dad? Right? You need to understand what they do. Number three is, what does the problem cost your clients? So if you don't fix this problem, what they came to you for, what is it costing? What is it costing your clients? What's that costing? What's it costing in mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually? What is it costing them? Number four, what would happen if they didn't get it fixed? What would happen if they didn't get this fixed? What are the factors that will cause if it doesn't get fixed? And number five, how will it affect their family relationship? Ask yourself these questions. As you do, I'll just repeat them again. What problem do you solve? Number two, who do you help? Number three, what does the problem cost your clients? Number four, what would happen if they didn't get it fixed? What would happen if it didn't get it fixed? Short-term, long-term. And how would it affect their family relationships? Now, check this out. I also did some research around headsup.org.au. They've got some research around the top 5 causes of stress in Australia over the last 5 years. Number one, personal finances, 49%. Family issues, 45%. Personal health, 44%. Trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle, 40%. Issues with the health of others close to them is 38%. So stop there for a second. Well, you're saying that most people that are stressed in Australia are stressed because of these issues: personal finances, family issues, personal health, trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle, and issues with health of others close to us. 3 out of the 5 are all about health. The first one's about finances. So I flip it onto you and back to our original conversation of, when personal trainers, fitness professionals aren't charging enough, are you worried about your personal finances? Are you stressing about these issues? Are you stressing about your personal health because you're overstressed, you're overworked, you're up morning, you're up night, you're burning the candle? Are you trying to maintain your own healthy lifestyle? And are you, issues with others around you? You may not be able to see them, and that's causing you grief and stress. So that's you as a person. And then you've got your clients. And the reason why I bring this up, to make you guys think around, this is an issue that we need to understand what we're actually solving and what we're doing. And then I want to kind of show you how the fastest way to kind of get growth in your fitness business and get paid what you're worth. And number one here is that you need to understand what we're dealing with. You need to understand what type of a surgeon, what type of a professional are you? If you're a professional that doesn't just put some equipment in a gym, and you actually have a community that you're building, you give advice out, you offer support, you offer accountability, you're offering items like tools, resources to help people through their life to make it better, reducing the top 5 factors of stress, and 3 of those will naturally be reduced straight away. We've got to understand what we're actually worth. Now, an easy scenario for this is, I'd love you to Google a job that you believe you have similar to outside the industry. So for example, I could say, okay, as a fitness professional, why don't we look at the hours that a nurse does, for example? They work long hours, overtime, split shifts, days on, days off, all those kind of things. So we're trying to find a career that's somewhat, to a degree, similar to the fitness industry and what you do as a career. So I'm talking to you on the gym floor. I'm talking to you as a small business owner that is just mornings, afternoons. I mean, that's how I started. Up at 3:30, drive 45 minutes to my studio, open the doors, 5:30, train, 9:30, 10, have a little nap because I was so tired, do some accounts, do some admin, marketing, back in the afternoon, more clients or evening, get home, drive home, clean, 8:39, be home at 10, bed in 10:30, 11 o'clock, do it all again. That's your working hours. So if that's your working hours, guess what? Go find what it's worth. Now, I can tell you one thing that it's worth. It's not worth free. It's not worth not paying yourself. It's not worth not getting a regular income. It's not worth that. Because what's happened now that we've lost all this industry, we've lost the industry because we didn't get paid what we were worth. We didn't put money away. We didn't put super away. We haven't put tax away. We just thought that the goodwill that we are and the good nature people that we are, that will be enough. Well, guess what? It's not enough because it takes money to help people, to continue helping people, to continue running a business, to continue have sanity for you as a person and your family. And that otherwise, without that, there's too much financial stress. And you just heard me talk about the 5 stresses, what's going on there. So you don't want to be one of those. So team, love to know your thoughts on this so far. And what you can probably do is the next point here is just calculate how much money are you taking away every week, every year. Probably need to do it over a year. I was with a client yesterday. I said, calculate the last 6 months of your earnings. When I say to somebody, hey, what are you making? What are you taking out a week? A large part of those responses, like, I don't take much, or I just draw here and there when I need it. You know, I'm sure everybody can relate to this. Somewhere in their fitness career, I go to the ATM, I go shopping, I pull the money out, or I might put the put the groceries or pay for the car on the work account, and that's fine. I don't really care. What I'm after is if you take every single cent that you use for you personally and your family, could be groceries, it could be a dinner, your car, clothes, whatever. I want you to calculate that and then average that out each week. And so that's what you're paying yourself each week as an average. And that is the wage that you're drawing. Now, you may not be on a PAYG, you may be just taking drawings out, you may be a sole trader, you may be a company. It doesn't really matter at this point. What I just want to understand is, what are you taking out? Then take that and compare that with another industry, like a nurse. Jackson says, sounds like my routine. Like a nurse industry, right? Just compare it. Just do that activity. Once you do that, then we can have a conversation. And then we can say, okay, now how we can fix this problem? How can we fix this problem? Because the scenario of, yes, let's be the helper. Let's help. It's okay for a short term, but not for a long term, not to stay in the industry over these restrictions and lockdowns and cancellations and everything like that we've had to experience as an industry. It's been heartbreaking. But what's more heartbreaking is this. You go out of the industry, your clients that have relied on you, your community that relied on you, can't rely on you anymore, and they're going to find other solutions. So I'm talking to the heart-centered fitness business owners here. That is heartbreaking. To avoid that, we need to get serious on this conversation. So the fitness industry can be like any other industry that gets paid what they're really worth. And nobody gets paid what they're really worth because we all put so much in. The reason why I say, nurses, healthcare professionals, because those guys, they put everything in more and they're still underpaid. But they're paid on an hourly or a salary. And again, underpaid. A lot of people are underpaid, I believe, in health industries, in medical industries, because we give a lot. And that's the job, okay? But at the end of the day, we need to protect ourselves and ensure that when there's another tough time, when there's another flood, when there's another COVID lockdown, whatever's coming our way, we are prepared. So I want to take you through some strategies today on this podcast. Again, if you're just tuning in on Facebook, I have decided to stream this. But if you haven't yet listened to our podcast series, you can go check that out. It's the Marketing Muscle Up show. And every Friday we do a segment called the hustle and muscle with Rizz. Rizz is not here at the moment. He is in country land, I know, drinking milk and lying down on some green grass. I'm not sure what he's doing over there, but he's taking a holiday. So that's where he's at. And he'll be back next Friday. So there's a couple of things you can do as a business owner to make this work for you better. And this is what I'm really excited about. And this is why me and Joey's my wife, we started comm marketing, our education arm, because we were sick and tired of personal trainers, of fitness business, of studios just paying too much for something they can learn themselves. I was over it. I was overpaying in agencies, $1,500 for this, $1,000 for this. I was over all that. And so I do believe that once we learn skills like this, we save so much, and we make so much as well. So I want to take you through some things that have really helped me, helped our clients over this time. Number one, I want to make sure you guys are drawing a wage. So pay yourself each week. My recommendation is pay yourself through PAYG. That's tax and super. A lot of you may not paying yourself that way. The reason why that's important is because when you do want to borrow, house, all that kind of stuff, as you get old and gray or old and bald, whatever, it may be a solution you need. And I've seen a lot of people leave the fitness industry because they needed that to go get a house. And the fitness industry could not do that. Their business could not do that. So you may not want it now, but you'll need it later. My recommendation is pay yourself through a wage and get that sorted. And, for example, $80,000 average wage for allied health, according to Google here, and a few reports I'm looking at. And so if you look at that salary, it's about $1,500 a week. Okay. That's not including super on top of that as well. So super at the moment, I think it's 12.5% going up every year. And so my recommendation is pay yourself what you can afford and pay your super on what you can afford. And then every 6 months, look at taking your wage up a little bit when you can afford that. But what you want to do is you need to pay yourself something on a regular salary. And this is the most important thing, to get self-worth, to get clarity in your business and you as a person. There's two separate entities, your business and you as a person. And if you think that they're the same, you're wrong. They're two different things. The business is not you and you're not the business. So first of all, you need to make sure that you're paying yourself a wage. And I've seen people for their whole lives just taking from the business, but their business does not grow. Their business is not growing. And the reason why this is important is because the fitness industry, we're very smart in what we can do. If this doesn't work, we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. We're very innovative of how we get things done. And that's a really good skill to have, by the way. But it's also the opposite of that. It's a really bad skill to have if you do want to grow a great, consistent business and draw a consistent wage so you can stay here long term, and then you can do other things. But you need to have some stability. So that's number one. I didn't do that for many, many years, and that cost me because I thought you're building an asset. Yes, we are building an asset, but what happens if something happens? What happens, worst case? You can't hold your breath and then think that it'll be okay down the line. Always look at worst case scenarios. Not saying have a plan B, but you need to be all the way through focusing on you as a unit of a really important person, because you're not there. The community is not there, not getting fit. As I said, compare your jobs with other people in other industries that are similar as possible. And don't think that not getting paid, you're helping someone to get through, you're helping your clients to get through. That is a crap mentality, and you need to drop that. Living an oily rag is not a good thing for you or your clients, not a good thing for you or your family, not a good thing for you or your other half. And I also want to talk to everybody out there who's starting a business, right? And this show's called The Hustle and Muscle. And I'm, at the moment, Rizz is definitely not hustling. He's chilling and taking a holiday. And I am saying, stop hustling right now, Because if you've hustled a little bit when you start your business, okay, when you start your business, sure, you need to put a bit of grind. You need to put a bit of hustle in there. You need to work. However, you can't be forgetting about you as a person. So I'm not going to give you a time frame on when this should happen. Everybody's a bit different. But I can tell you right now, if this is going on for more than 2 years, definitely we need to have this conversation and think about this. So some easy things to do is pay yourself each week on a set day that you may pay other contractors or a cleaner or anybody you have. If you don't have anybody to pay, that's fine. Choose a day to pay yourself. Generally, Thursdays works well. When you're starting out and you're really just scraping by, start weekly. Now, that's how we started, weekly. Monthly is like, oh my gosh, I can't afford that much. I got to save it. So just do it weekly to get started. That works well. Then put your money away for super. It's like 12.5%, I believe, at the moment. You put that money away straight into your super account, like each week. Do that. Don't let it save up. Just get it out. And then your tax as well. You're going to have to take your tax away. And again, you can pay that each week as well if you want to, right? Just get that out of your hair. This is the most fundamental thing about growing a business, is knowing that you can pay yourself, you can pay your taxes, you can pay your super. And I know this is hard to hear for a lot of people that are struggling with this. I've struggled with that for many years. But as soon as you start doing this, your business will change. As soon as you start doing this, your community will grow. As soon as you start doing this, you'll get better referrals. As soon as you start doing this, you'll start marketing. As soon as you start doing this, you have self-belief again. As soon as you start doing this, you'll have confidence again. And you've got to go back and understand, what is it actually, and those questions that I asked before, what are you actually solving, and how much, how worth that is that to your clients? A lot of personal trainers, they'll start training, you guys will start training executives, CEOs, business owners. And that's how I started personal training. I loved it. I really loved it. And that's why I was like, I was learning so much from, older people than me when I was a 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old trainer. I was just like a sponge listening to everybody, what they were doing the days and that things. I thought, they're paying me to train them. I should be paying them to get their information. I was dealing with people that were bankers and they were on like multi millions a year. And I was like, wow, this is great information I'm getting here. And so I was like, well, whatever they're paying me is just a bonus. But again, the reason why I say that, who you're training, is because and this is how I started with Rizz. I said, Rizz, I want to train, yes, to put some size on, but I also want to train so I'm sharp. And I said to him, this is what it's costing me. If I'm not sharp, I can't present well. I can't lead a team. I don't want to talk. So if I don't train, it's going to cost me a lot more than if I pay you to train. And that was my mentality as a client to Rizz. I said, I need to train with you as many days as I can, because the conversation as a one-on-one client, at that stage I was doing one-on-one clients, it was really getting my mind working. It was getting me woken up. And you've experienced this training your clients. And to me, I found that super valuable, like by far, because it set me up for a good day. And so I always say, understand your clients and understand the value that you bring them, not just I lost, around my waist and my chest and I'm healthy. All those things are 100% needed too, right? But I'm just going really deep into, if they don't do it in their job, what is it costing them? And if you are training some great clients with great jobs, they'll understand the value of this. So I guess it finally brings to my point that take your rates up and pay yourself. And I haven't mentioned this before, like the take the rates up section, but I believe that I'm going to give you some stats before we finish up. Like, this is what I think you should be charging as a standard. All right. Now, the reason why I say draw a salary first is because what will happen, you'll realize that if you can't draw the salary, guess what? You're not charging enough, or you don't have enough clients in. That's why that's the most important thing, the most important thing. Then we can work on, okay, if you're matching your salary to average salary of Allied Health or whatever you want as a personal trainer, let's say $100,000, we have a program called the PT Growth Accelerator, and it gets clients to $100,000 as fast as we can in 12 weeks. Our other program called Com Ninjas helps people to get to 500K and beyond as a studio. And then obviously they have money to pay themselves on a regular basis. And that's what a lot of our clients are doing. And so these are some quick numbers that I'm going to tell you. If you're running a group class, 13 people in it, 14, 15, whatever, up to 30. Again, I don't like those big numbers in a class, but if you're running kind of a studio style or a boot camp, similar to that, and there's probably an unlimited membership, you minimally should be charging $50 a week, right? Feel free to charge more, by the way, but anybody that's on the 30 or the 20 or the 25 or the $10 a session rate, take it up to at least $50, right? Do yourself a favor. Anybody that owns a gym, gym owners will hate me, but the $12 and $13 too cheap. You got to take it up to at least $20 a week, at least $20 a week. That's $1,000 a year. That's 1,000 members. You'll make $1 million. That $50 per week for the studio, 200 members, that's $500,000. That's 500K, right? You need to be doing those numbers. If you're charging $8, $9, and like if you're charging that, like why? It's not $19.90 here. Why are you charging that for? What's the reason of that for? To say you're the cheapest gym around? To say that you can help the community? Listen, if people can't afford $20 a week, they can go walk outside. There's an option there, right? What you're doing is not providing a treadmill. You're actually providing much more than that, as we said before. So understand the value that you're providing. Because if someone can't afford your services, there's a front door and they can walk around the block, all right? People know how to do that. If you're a PT, you want to be making sure that you're at least earning 70, 80, 60, 70, $80,000 a year, consistently being able to pay yourself on a PAYG. So that means not getting paid $2,000 one week, $500 the next week, not getting paid $600 and saying, oh, I make $1,500, and then most weeks you're averaging at $700 because people are no showing and not turning up. So you got to put cancellation things in place, making sure that you got people on direct debits, making sure that people are locked in a certain session, making sure you have a cancellation policy. If they're going to cancel, they're going to make up. The money's still going to come out. That's going to ensure that your stability is there. Now, we teach a lot about small group, moving from one-to-one to small group. We teach a lot about that. And that is by far, my favorite flavor here. I won't go into that subject today. But if we're not charging that, I believe every gym operator out there should really take note, and they should go, am I charging this, and why not? Because this is the first point to then actually saving our industry, to make our industry worthwhile the way it is. You're simply charging not enough, and nothing's going to happen. And if we have another pandemic like this, if we have another flood, if we have a whatever we have, I mean, go look at the news at the moment, what's happening around the world. The world's going crazy. And it also means there's no confidence in the market. There's undulating markets. There's more of this stuff coming. So what we can do is we can provide confidence, clarity, certainty, leadership for our clients. And if we can't do it, who's going to do it? Nobody's doing it at the moment. And when you do that, that is your worth. When you do that, that's what people want. They want that certainty. They want that clarity. They want the results. They want the community. They want everything that we give them. And for goodness sake, I had two people that I know recently pass away. Passed away for a few factors, but health was a major factor. They weren't exercising. They weren't eating healthy. And they died way too young. You can save people. We do save people every day, but you're not going to save anybody if you simply don't respect your own price tag and your own worth. You won't be saving communities, you won't be saving people because you'll be opting out of the industry. So team, I hope that's helped to put some thoughts into you to start looking at your rates and start taking them up where they need to be. Again, if you need help with this, my recommendation is go to our group, Crush Your Fitness Marketing, jump into there. Actually, most of you in there, if you're watching this on the live that I decided to do, if you're listening to this on podcast, jump into the group, Crush Your Fitness Marketing. When you get in the group, just say hello to us. There's a couple of questions to fill in and let us know what you need help with. We can help you. We're here to help. The reason why we partner with the best in the industry, Oz Active, Exercise New Zealand, direct debit companies that service many communities, we partner with amazing people, colleagues in this industry, relationships in this industry, is because we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to help the fitness industry boom and get better and make more money. But you've got to help yourself. Because I always say, and I'll leave it at this, is nobody's going to come and help you when you got to close your doors. Nobody's going to come and help you when you got no more money to pay for petrol to get to your gym. Nobody's going to come and help you when you're depressed, have anxiety, and you're overstressed. Yeah, you might get a few people knocking your door saying, do you need help? But really, you got to help yourself to get to the next part. That's what the Hustle and Muscle show is all about, using your hustle in the right way, using your muscle in the right way. We don't want to hustle our whole life. So remember, hustle now to get your prices up, to charge what you're worth. Again, those are the standard rates that I've said. Obviously, you can go and charge more than that 100%, but at minimum, I believe we should charge that. So that means if you're listening to this and you're charging $35, if you're charging $40, take your rate up. If you're a PT and you're not charging enough, and that's based on a 60-minute session, or you may have a different structure where it's set structured prices all the way a week, that's cool. But as long as you're taking those rates out. And if you're a gym, again, same concept. We're helping massive communities here that, can go in there and do most of their exercise or run group classes. So I hope that's helped. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Hustle and Muscle show with Rich and Rizz, who's not here. We do these every Friday. It's just coming to you today. We do this every Friday. And we also run a podcast every single day on the Marketing Muscle Up channel in the podcast. And if you enjoy this, please invite someone to check it out. Share the link in Apple or Spotify. And, put down what you've done. I've got some comments here. Kate says, I put my price up and it's made a huge difference in my revenue. Boom. And that's what it's exactly about. It's about staying in the industry long-term and ensuring that you can help your community out because they need you. Bye for now, team. I'll catch you next time on the Marketing Muscle Up podcast.